What's up, guys? I'm on a quest to find these DC Comics at Walmart. I've already been to one Walmart today, and they had nothing. They're supposed to come out today. This is July the 1st. This is the day that they're supposed to be appearing in stores, and no sign of them. They're not in the magazine section, which is where I thought they would be, but I was looking online, and the reports are that they're in the collectibles section at the front, which is where they have like the Funko Pops, or like the cards, whatever, like the collectible stuff. So I'm on my way to a second Walmart, kind of disappointed, a little bit ticked off about it, but I'll let you know. We'll see what we find. We'll check in from the next store.
By the way, welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I'm glad you're here as we walk through the door of Walmart and see the comics right by the checkout in the collectible section. Not a ton of stock. We got one Batman out of place behind it, Justice League America. Let's take all this stuff back to the comic book dungeon and see what we've got.
Alright guys, so we are in the comic book dungeon in front of the Serial icons and the Super Friends Batman, because it just feels appropriate. I have the comics in hand. I'll give an overview about these first, and then we will take them to the unboxing table, and you can kind of just see for yourself what you think about them. But my general thoughts on these are, it looks like there's maybe only 5 copies per title per store, which is crazy low. I know that adds up to still 20 books overall, but if you're trying to promote these and you want to get these out there, 5 copies per store is not a lot. I can't imagine that there's going to be any stores that have any stock 3, 4, or 5 days from now. The one that I saw, you saw in the video, like it was half gone probably. Teen Titans, I got the last one. So these are not going to be comic book shop killers. I don't think they were ever designed to be. I think as we go through them, you will see. This is designed to reach an impulse audience. Like I said, the person checking out with milk, who's like, I would like to read Superman. Hey, there's Superman. I haven't read Superman in a while. This is not for your average dedicated comic book audience. This is for your casual person to pick up an impulse buy. That's exactly what this is for. So there's no need to worry about the future of the comic book industry. And if this is going to get more readers for comic books, this is a good thing. So that's my overall thoughts on these. They look good. They're printed on it's kind of a matte. It's not super glossy. It's kind of a matte paper. It's not it might be considered newsprint now. It's not the newsprint I grew up with. It's kind of like a mix. It's like half newsprint, half glossy. It looks really good. I'm really happy with it, and it's got, you guys, it's got that smell. It's got the new comic book smell that only a certain type of paper has. So with that being said, let's take it to the unboxing table and let's get a closer look at these things. All right, so let's start with Superman Giant number 1. I should also note these are 100 pages counting the covers, so it's actually 96 pages of story, and they're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is what it is. It's still really hard to complain about. So this issue, the first story, Superman Endurance Part 1, is that's the original story for this book. It's written by Jimmy Palmiotti, pencils by Tom Derenick, and Trevor Scott is the inker. I really like this story. It's only 12 pages. This is a Superman Against Nature story, but I feel like in these few short pages you get everything that you need to know about Superman. You get the iconic red and blue. You've got the tights, the underwear on the outside, which is something that a lot of people were not happy about with the New 52 stuff. So that is what it is, and it's to be continued. We get to the end of the story. There's a next, and it's teasing the next thing. So come back in 30 days for the conclusion to that story. From there, we go to Superman Batman number 1, which is a classic story. That book is fantastic. And then Green Lantern Airborne. This is from the Green Lantern Rebirth era. So they have the year. So Green Lantern number 1, Superman Batman 1, and the Terrifics number 1, copyright 2003, 2005, and 2018. So they're reaching pretty far back on some of this stuff, but it tells you all you need to know about these characters. Like this is Green Lantern from the Rebirth era, highlighting Hal Jordan and how how iconic that character is. You know, they're really going for establishing that status quo again, and we've got the tease for the next thing. This is the Terrifics #1. We get to the end of it. It's interesting. There are no commercial advertisements in here. There's no ads for like Cheerios or anything like that. It's all house ads for DC trying to sell trade paperbacks. Every ad is for trade paperbacks or a hardcover, a collected edition. So you're reading Rebirth and they're like, hey, you want to read more Rebirth? Check out Green Lantern Rebirth. So I'm actually totally okay with that. I think that works really well. And then on the last page, they tease the next issue. Back of all four of these are the same. Dark Knight's Metal, which is super popular right now, so that's smart advertising, and you can only get that in the comic book shop monthly, or you can get the trade paperbacks. We'll move on to Justice League #1. The new Justice League story in this, it's a Wonder Woman story called The Conversion, and it is, let's see, who is it? It's Tim Seeley is the writer, who, if you just FYI, Hack Slash, if you like slasher horror movies, he co-created Hack Slash. Fantastic book. Rick Leonardi is the artist, and Steve Buccellato, I guess I'm saying that right, hopefully, is the colors. This is clearly trying to harken back to the Wonder Woman movie. I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. It's got Steve Trevor in it, who looks an awful lot like Chris Pine from the Wonder Woman movie. It's okay. I actually think that this story is the weakest of the four. And then we go to Justice League #1 from the New 52 era of Justice League. Again, house ads. If you like Justice League, check out these Justice League books. It's got the Flash #1, the New 52 New 52 Flash, I believe. Establishing Barry Allen, which is a great choice for this because everybody, people are loving the Flash TV series. Maybe a little less so this season, but so that's that. And then the last title in this one is Aquaman #1, again from the New 52. This is the Trench story. Probably one of the strongest Aquaman stories in who knows how long. Like a really long time. This is a fantastic story. Moving on to Teen Titans. The original story in this is really fun. It's called Enter the Disruptor. They introduce a new supervillain called the Disruptor. It's art by Dan Jurgens. It's pencils by Scott Eaton, and the inker's Wayne Faucher. I'm not sure how you say his name. Really great story. I really like this villain that they've introduced, the Disruptor. He can disrupt anything. He can disrupt your optic nerves. He can disrupt the firing pin in your rifle. So it makes him a really cool villain. And then we go from there to Teen Titans #1 from like 2003, I think. Like this is when like Teen Titans first got really popular. No, obviously the 80s were when Teen Titans first got really popular. But this resurgence now that Teen Titans is experiencing with the cartoon and everything, that all kind of started around 2003. So that's got that in there. It's also got Super Sons, which I have never heard of this book. I haven't read this. I've read the news stories that are collected in here, but this is like Batman's son and Superman's son, I guess. Yeah, the son of Batman and Superman follow in their father's footsteps together. So I haven't read that. And I also haven't read Sideways #1. I don't know what that is yet. It seems cool. I like the art. Looks pretty sweet to me. That's Teen Titans. Finally, we have Batman. This starts with a new story by Jimmy Palmiotti and Patch Zurcher, and the colorist is John Calise. This is pretty cool. Again, this is like, it kind of tells you everything that you need to know about Batman within just a few pages, like orphan, crime alley, driven by this need to, look, we got the Monarch Theater, just in the first issue. I'm not spoiling anything, by the way. I'm not showing the ends of pages or anything. But like within, like we've got the Mark of Zorro, which is crucial to his origin story, the Monarch Theater. All of this in just a few pages establishes who he is, what drives him, and we have a new case for him to embark on. Again, 12 pages. And then we are off to Batman Hush Part 1, The Ransom. Hush is an amazing story. Again, one of the best stories of the last 20 years. They have chosen well. Jim Lee, who wrote Hush? Jeff Loeb. That's right. How could I forget? Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee. Amazing, amazing story. This has been collected. See, that's the thing. Like, I have almost all of these issues that have been reprinted here in trade paperback, hardcover, even some of the original issues. But they're marketing these. How about that? That art of Poison Ivy. That's, yeah. Nightwing. We got Nightwing #1 in here. I believe the new 52 Nightwing. But these are crucial stories to establish these characters, this universe, for an audience that is not super familiar with comics. And they end this book with Harley Quinn #1 by Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti, and the artist was Chad Hardin. Harley Quinn, basically the Deadpool of the DC universe these days. I thought this was interesting. The last page, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, comicshoplocator.com. So they're referencing you to a comic book shop. So again, no need to fear that these are going to put the comic book industry out of business, that is going to close comic book shops. These are clearly designed at an audience who is not going into the comic book store all the time. These are for people who are curious about comics, maybe have read one or two in their past, but they are not monthly comic book readers. This is designed to catch people up on some of the best stories of the last 20 years. Hush, Batman, Superman, some of the cool stuff in the Teen Titans. Like, this is good stuff. So next month they will be doing the conclusions for the original two-part stories, and then after that is when all the great new stuff starts. The Brian Michael Bendis Superman stories, the Amanda Conner stuff, like all that will start with issue #3. These all came out on the same day, and I believe the plan is from here on out that they will be staggered bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks you'll have new DC Comics at your local Walmart. So there you have it, guys. The 4 issues reviewed. You've seen for yourself. I think they're pretty cool. I think this is a great idea to expand comic book readership. You're not going to do it with 5 copies of each book in a store, though. If you're only looking to expand it by 5 people at a time, that's one thing. But hopefully we're thinking bigger than that, and hopefully this was just kind of a test to see how well this was going to sell. I don't know if this is going to show up in Canada. I hope so. I don't know why it wouldn't. Obviously, I don't think that there are Walmarts in the UK. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for that, and it's unfortunate because there are a lot of international comic book readers who would love something like this. Hopefully there's a solution, but it is what it is, and we will just see what happens, because I think this is an experiment that is ever unfolding. So we will see what the next step is. I know they're not solicited. I know they're planned for 12 issues. To kind of just see how it sells and how it does. I don't know that I'm going to be in for all 12. We will see how the stories are. But for, this is $20. That's not nothing. But for what it is, like, I don't know, I feel pretty good about it. I'm glad that I have these issues, and I want to support more comics in more places, because more comics available in more places is good for comics, and it's good for you and me, comic book fans. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate your time. SerialMidnight.com, at SerialMidnight on Twitter. If you want to know what's coming out every week before it comes out, you can only find it at SerialMidnight on Twitter. Again, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you, and I will catch you later.